Hello. So this is a recap of the live event we had the 16th of April. So quick recap. Basically, we've been discussing artificial intelligence and what is the machine learning and Gen AI and what those two combined can do for sales operations. So that's kind of the subject we've been covering. So quick introduction. What is Gen AI and what is machine learning? The idea is really to apply those techniques into sales operation and management of a business, of a company. And we've been diving into what agents could be. There are multiple agents today, as you know. Most of you have heard about this agent going everywhere. So what would be running a business with agents? And that's kind of what we've been covering. And then we've been covering what will be the deployment strategy and how we could today deploy those solutions into businesses. So quickly, I was yesterday with Farid, who is CTO of Feng2. It's a machine learning platform, and myself, I've been developing Epsimo AI, which is a AI agent platform where you you will be able to create AI agents and deploy those into your company. So at the end of the presentation and in the comments, I will provide some links and give you some details about how you can contact Farid or myself if you want to discuss that, move this further. So basically, I've been using multiple slides. So there are a lot of slides today from many players, many key players in the industry, and I'm using some of them. So Salesforce, of course, Google, and SAP. So basically, here you have we are in a situation where we are in a AI revolution, and basically we've been going through we are going through few waves of AI. So the wave one was predictive and has been going around. Machine learning has been here for some time, and Farid has been discussing that. So we have seen this evolving. But companies were using those technologies since some time already. The thing that came really since what they said 18 months is the generative AI with of course the ChatGPT, OpenAI making a wave on this and impacting the way we are seeing the AI and how we could use those technologies into our company, and of course, like I was expressing before, autonomous agents. So basically, we have the wave 3, which is coming now, where typically Salesforce is saying, "Hey, Einstein, can you update the order and notify the customer?" Where the agent will be autonomously managing orders and in fact communicating with customers. So this is where we might be between wave 2 and wave 3, depending on who's discussing that and the maturity of the technology. And of course, wave 4 will be general intelligence, right? So no big difference, or maybe those robots or agents will be smarter than us. So wave 4 is coming, and we don't know when. We don't know if it's really coming, but the wave 4 will be something else where agents will be part of the team and really part of the companies as individuals, right? So we probably are between the two. My prediction is that really the agents are maturing this year, as we still have a lot of technologies which are not really completely ready for production, to be frank. So there are things that are maturing, and probably next year I see those agents being central into the way companies are deploying AI. So the objective of what we've been trying to build with Feng2 is to have a simple team, in fact. So we might imagine having, in fact, a team where you have the your sales pipeline, so all the pipeline and sales data that would be in fact used by a sales director agent, right? And then the sales director is is sending some guidelines and supporting and coaching into a sales rep. Here it's Alice, but as we discussed during the webinar, it could scale, right? You can, once this is working, you can put 200 Alice overnight, right? So Alice is overnight. So basically, it's a simple schema of pipeline going into sales director, then instructing the sales person, and the salesperson, sales rep, will go into the customer and connect with the customer, and of course do a deal or update the order or chat through email, and of course voice, right? Because we know that agents now can talk, and we all know that multimodal AI can now discuss with customers. So this is really the objective of the presentation. What we know is if we use Google last event, Google has been saying, so because is it possible to do, right? And that's kind of the question, where are we with this, and how can we do this? And I totally respect what Google is saying, and Google is saying, well, we can develop agents. So what are the different types of agents? You got customer agents, you got employee agents, you got your creative data agents, coding, of course, and security agents. So if we look at what we just discussed, let's imagine we want to create a sales team. We might think about having employee agent, a customer agent, and a data agent. So the customer agent will be the sales rep, right? Interacting with the customer. The employee agent will be the sales director, and this employee will be managing the pipeline and managing the business processes, and interacting with the sales reps. And then the data agent is, I was thinking, the sales operation agent. So right, this agent is connected to most of the data in the company, and it will be able to provide both the employee agent and the customer agent with data, and those data could be leveraged to, of course, manage a business and manage the customer expectations. So it's kind of Google saying this is possible. We have the infrastructure to do that. Super. So it's good news for us wanting to manage businesses with those agents. What Salesforce is saying is that really there is a difference between consumer AI and enterprise AI, right? So we all, I guess, understand that. Consumer AI, if you look at ChatGPT, which is a huge success and it's an amazing product and offer, is mostly a UI, a very simple chat interface, and a few models, and then public data, right? So most of the data you will find in ChatGPT. Even if you can load some data, you can do a lot of things, but still, most of what you're gonna get in this platform is in this consumer AI platform is mostly public data. Hopefully, because those data are going to OpenAI, so it's hopefully public data. So what Salesforce is saying is that then, if you really want to use those tools into your company, you will need to connect to your enterprise data, and that's the game, right? That's where we are now. How do we connect to the enterprise data, and how do we connect this fantastic stack, right? Because it's a super useful and really easy to use. But how do we use this in a company? And this is where we are now. Everybody is trying to find the best solution to connect enterprise data to AI, to the new AI, the Gen AI. So if you look at the data we have in the enterprise, Salesforce is a really fantastic solution, and I know the solution. I've been using it as a sales director multiple occasions. So it's one of the best solutions in the market. Salesforce is number one by far in terms of market share for CRM. So a lot of the data you will find in companies today, even small and medium businesses, are within Salesforce. So the structured data could be a part of those data are into the Salesforce solution. Of course, Microsoft and Oracle and SAP are still are also very strong, but of course you see Salesforce as being a reference in this space of customers structured customer data, right? So I will discuss. That's why I'm using Salesforce to see how, from what Salesforce is saying, we can extrapolate to our companies and our businesses. So basically what Salesforce is saying is that, and this is 2024, and this is quite surprising, in fact, 81% of businesses today are are saying that they have an issue with data silos, and 80% of IT leaders are saying that data are siloed and difficult to exploit, in fact, in their organization. So it's really surprising to see this in 2024, but it's kind of, I trust Salesforce on that. They know, and it's a big issue for generative AI, because if those silos are still existing, it's going to be tough to really use AI against those silos. So the game is going to be to bring trusted data, or the enterprise data, to AI. And of course, Salesforce is proposing to customize their copilot, right, Einstein, and then put this into your organization somewhere. So having copilots on Salesforce, on some other applications. But the idea is really, how do we bring the data we have in the company into the AI, right? So here it's Salesforce Copilot, Einstein, but could be any AI solution you have in your organization. One thing to remind is that, and this is really, for me, it was a surprise when I checked, I looked back into this, because you realize that 20% of company data are structured in various databases and various softwares that we've been using for years, but 80% are unstructured. So unstructured is really the things that are going through the chat, through emails, the social media conversations, a lot of things that are going at the customer and enterprise customer type of interface, reviews, and so a lot of things are inside companies today that are unstructured, and this has been here for some time in our companies, and we didn't exploit those data really well, to be frank. That's my analysis here, and this is the whole purpose of what I'm doing here. And structured data are 20%, right? So the 20% is really, of course, the sales, everything you got with finance and CRM and ERP and and everything you got in your company. So one thing is interesting to realize, that we don't know what this mix is going to become with AI, because AI does not really, or the Gen AI we have today does not really care if the data are structured or not, right? So it's really interesting to see where this is going to go, because probably the mix could change, and probably and there are a few techniques, like so should we say we will put everything in structured, because AI can, Gen AI can take the unstructured and structure it, or should we move all our structured data into some form of unstructured data or less structured data, and just let AI figure it out about what to do? And that's kind of where we are today. To be frank, this year is really a year where there is a decision to be made on this, and knowing that a lot of the company value is in the unstructured data. In fact, this 80% is a huge value, and we've been really, in fact, we didn't exploit those data very well at most of the companies. Some were exploiting those data very well, like Facebook and Meta and Amazon and all those people or companies using already very well structured AI. But most of the companies using Salesforce, for instance, or SAP, I'm going to discuss, did not exploit those data very well. At least it was difficult to extrapolate or to correlate the data, unstructured and unstructured data. So it's kind of big value we have now with Gen AI, is to be able to exploit those data. So on this front, it's really interesting to see that SAP and major ERP that I know quite well, and in fact Salesforce and there is a lot of discussion about how do we bridge the gap now on bringing those, in fact, all those data and putting all those data into the AI, right? So there is how you say, a lot of work being done by those companies, those major players in the enterprise software field, and they really are discussing how, and they are developing solutions to bring data to AI, right? So SAP has just came up with a vector database, and Salesforce have been also has been also implementing a solution to bring data into their Copilot, right? So that's what I was saying. Every company has got its strategy. So Google has got its own strategy. SAP has got one strategy, and Salesforce another option. So there are a few options available today, and it's really about what companies should choose. Should you use all those solutions in the same time in your organizations, or should you decide and pick one specifically for your organization? So if I look at Salesforce today, they have been introducing a vector database. So that's kind of interesting, because what Salesforce is doing is really being able to do the retrieval augmented generation. So that means that's really the technique which is really today well publicized. This is the database that AI or Gen AI likes, right? So it's the way a model is able to retrieve information. So those vector databases are used to provide the model and the AI with data. And and Salesforce is saying, what do? They around their data cloud, they are doing they ingest data. So structured data and unstructured data are combined, and of course classified and sorted, and then you will embed those data into a data cloud, which is a vector database. And this vector database is really easy to use with AI, and it's this vector database is able to provide AI with the right information and right data. So it's really very interesting to say that Salesforce has decided to mix both the structured and unstructured, and to build some vector databases for their copilots, right? So which is it's I think it's a good strategy. It's very interesting and very powerful. And once you got those vector databases, and if they are well designed and well documented, and the metadata of those databases are correct, then this can provide inputs into more AIs and more processes, right? So not just the copilot, but of course a lot of solutions in companies could use those vector databases. So SAP is working on another approach. They also have got a vector database, but they are kind of putting their vector databases inside a structured database. So it's typical from SAP. I know this company. They like things structured, so they've been putting their vector databases inside a bigger structured table, I would say, and of course you can query this big table or big database structure, or multiple structures of databases into their SAP HANA cloud, right? So that's kind of interesting approach, different approach than Salesforce, and SAP is just explaining what is a vector database, right? So you put your documents, you do some embeddings, and of course create those entities which are the vector databases. What has been interesting to see that in fact those vector databases are 20 years old. In fact, the technology is like dated back in 2000, and as a production maybe even before. But what I've seen is probably 24 years now that those vector databases are running around, and those big players did not integrate those solutions so far, and it's only last month that we are seeing, in fact, those technology popping up inside CRMs and ERPs. So basically, Salesforce is now it's just released. So this slide is a bit older, but we just released their solution last 2 weeks ago, I think, and they announced it in December. SAP has been providing this since April the 2nd, and HubSpot has been discussing that, but this is wrong. They don't have any. I don't know. Maybe someone have seen this, but HubSpot has no vector database solution today. And interesting enough, HubSpot is rumored to be merging with Google. So I don't know if it's true, but could be that the investment to redesign the HubSpot infra, right? Their solution, to redesign the solution and implement a vector database is probably the cost is going to be huge. And it's possible that HubSpot will need Google's technology to, in fact, catch up with Salesforce. But that's just my, I don't know, it's just an hypothesis, right? Now, if you look at Google, then you've got multiple options to work on vector databases. It's starting to be complex when you go into Google. I don't know why they've got so many, but they've got multiple solutions. The big query is what they are pushing forward, I believe, on the agent AI side. But Google have got some options, of course, on vector databases, and have been using those vector databases for some time already. So just if I look at what we've been what I've been doing here in just to explain what is a vector database, and I will just show you a very easy way to in fact design a vector database. So it's if you want to design upsert, here it's a PDF, right? This is the Google Cloud, in fact, event transcript, which is a lot of pages, 50 pages of documents, of text. You can send this inside. Here I use Quadrant, which is a very easy to use, in fact, a vector database, and basically putting this, upserting this with basically I use Amazon AWS embedding, and when I upsert those 50 pages into a database, you get a database here. I can show you one example. So you get a database which is like 300 vectors, a bit more than 300 vectors, and you've got some information about those vectors and a lot of information. In fact, this is the size of the vectors is 1536 octets, and there is some parameter to do the retrieval. So there are a lot of things you can define, but once you got this correctly, in fact, you've got your embedding of your vector database. It's very easy to do. In fact, it's quite it's seamless and easy to process. Any company can do that basically with tools available on the market today. So it's really easy to upsert your unstructured data. I'm thinking, because I'm using conversational AI, so I'm using, for instance, here is just a transcript, but it could be a discussion. Yesterday I was discussing with a prospect about conversation between a customer and a sales rep, and you can analyze your customer and sales rep very easily with this technique. So you can embed your data into Quadrant, and then Quadrant, if you want to retrieve those information. So here you see a simple way to use, again, embedding from AWS Bedrock. You go into Quadrant, you get your database, and basically you also will use then a chat interface. So it's OpenAI, ChatGPT 3.5, some memory, and basically if you ask a question to the AI, you will get those 50 pages analyzed by the engine, and you're able to do some analysis, and it's going quite fast. And so this is, for instance, the type of I ask the agent what are the different type of agents that were discussed during the event. So I thought the AI was wrong, but it was like 21 times. I think Google did precise what was the agent. what was an agent, what different type of agents were existing. And so basically the AI just answering here what are the different types of agents. It's very easy to do. And then you will also get the reference, so where, that's what I was showing here, where these information are, in which vector, and how did you get this, and so you can have a lot of data and inputs into your answer, because the AI will tell you where it was in the documents. So those vector databases are very powerful, and you can send a lot of data to them. There is no limit, and you can also, with one agent, have multiple databases connected, right? So it's 1 minute, 10 seconds to give an agent any type of background in terms of information. It's very easy to do, in fact. So that's kind of vector databases where you see that the main players are going into that, and some of them are making this quite complex when it's really easy, in fact, to use. So basically, if I come back to the subject of this webinar, what do we have in terms of in fact agents? So we just discussed employee agents, the customer agents, and the data agents. So basically the customer interacting, internal employee, and data agents that we just seen previously. Back to Google now, where Google is saying, yes, it's possible, you can do that. It's already available on the platform. So great, fantastic. So we can set up our team with Google, in fact. So basically, then I will just let's say we want to twist a bit the model I showed before. So how do we twist it? We say we have the sales director, we have the sales rep, and both can interact with the data agent. So that's kind of what Google is saying, easy to do. And you've got your structured data and unstructured data, right? So let's imagine we want to exploit both the structured data, the unstructured data, send them to a data agent, and then those data agents will interact with your employees and your sales rep, right? With your employees, with your employee agent and your customer agent, right? So that's kind of one way of doing that. Knowing that I've been using those sales directors inside directly connected to structured data, it's already working quite well, in fact. But this is just a way of improving a bit the process and being able to do something more structured. So to create an agent, what do you need? In fact, you need a UI. So and the UI for the agent, to be frank, is still under construction. There is a lot of a lot of projects going on. I'm following what's going on in the US, and a lot of companies are working on this. We don't know today, let's be frank, what is the UI of the agent, even if we start to have an idea, but it can take any format, right? The agent doesn't care really of how it's interacting. So the UI is a big subject. Then you got your model. So the model is really the brain of the agent. So the models is ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4, Cohere, or Anthropic, Claude, whatever you want, Mistral, whatever model you want to use. The data, so what data do you provide to those agents? And this is what we've been discussing, and this is what I'm going to show here. And the tools. So the tools is basically how is the agent interacting with the world, right? The environment, so software, or any type of web browser, or whatever it is that you want to give the agent. So here I have in the platform in FCMOI, I have three types of agents that I'm using, which is the OpenGPT long chain, in fact, model. It's very easy to use, and it's kind of straightforward. And in this platform, I have just been working on three types of agents. Where you have the first one is a ChatGPT type, right? So you type in a chat interface, and you get the answer from the LLM, and then you get your output. The second type is really the RAG, so it's a retrieval augmented generation, which you just showed before. So where you really want the agent to be really focusing on a document. So basically, you don't want the agent to decide and to think about what you're asking it, but more like being able to focus on the document you're sending to the agent. And the third one is more complex, and the complete big picture of the agent is those models planning for actions on tools, right? And the tool you give the agent here is probably you can give it a SQL database chain. You can give it, in fact, a web browser, so you can go into the web, do some researches on the web, and like I discussed, I can attach to this agent a vector database or multiple vector databases. And the case of what we've been doing with Fang2, which is a machine learning platform, is really to, in fact, the Fang2 and machine learning is the machine learning is going to create a vector database to input into the agent, right? So it's quite powerful because you have total control over what is going into the agent and what type of data is injected into the agent, right? So if I get back to what I was saying, so you have a pipeline, you go into your sales director agent. The sales director is doing the work plan for Alice, the support, and then Alice is interacting with the customer. So how do we do this in creating an agent in a platform like FCMO AI? It's very easy, in fact. You will just have a definition of what is a sales director, and you say, it's a type RAG. So in this case, I have been injecting the pipeline into the sales director, and it's going to be focusing on only the pipeline. And I'm asking, is getting the document is a list of opportunities, so sales pipeline, and this is for Alice. So he's going to work on Alice. And he's going to use this list of opportunity to answer the user sales director to understand how Alice could improve her action plan. So his role is really sales director, and you are very talented. So you need to prompt the agent. And what I'm asking the sales director is to suggest the best action and next steps to imagine what could be done on each account to be for closing the deals, right? So that's what we want really as a sales director. We want sales director to help the sales rep to close more deals. So here, if I go into this, you'll see that sales director is getting data from the vector database, which is in its memory, and he will just design a work plan for Alice for next day, right? So that's pretty easy to do. The sales director is prompted, he knows, and this is mostly. This is coming from mostly a pipeline structured data, but of course you can add a lot of data into this analysis. So it's going to give Alice a lot of details on what she might do and how she could spend her day for the next day. So that's kind of a first step. So sales director is doing the planning for the sales rep, Alice. And Alice, next day, she's going to work on the plan. So she's got a plan here where she will come in the morning, or she maybe gets this through a podcast in the early morning, and the agent will say, hello, this is the Alice sales assistant. He say, hello, Alice, and this is the plan for today. So basically, Alice is getting a plan where she can organize her day. And this agent, Alice agent, can get access to more data, right, about each account, and help Alice through the day, help her close deals. And this agent is going to be a co-pilot for Alice for working during the day. So this is very seamless integration. You can go through a chat interface like that, or you can go through, of course, a chatbot or whatever the UI you want to choose. It's pretty easy to do. And this is giving, in fact, the sales team a capacity to organize the day for all the sales, right? So it's kind of a way of building agents, which is easy to do. So now, how do you implement those type of things? And this is where it's getting. You need to think about it. Basically, if you're into SAP, you need to work with the data hub of SAP Data Hub. So which is I've tried. It's a bit complex. I think SAP is going to work on this, but there is still a lot of things to be done. You can use Google Vertex AI, which is agent definition platform, which is a great platform, but still also it's a bit complex. Not sure how how much training you need to use this platform. I'm sure people are going to use it. It's a fantastic solution, but you can use this. And if you want to do some machine learning, so if you want to make sure to treat the data before it goes into the vector database, then you can use Google Machine Learning, for instance, or you've got Amazon SageMaker or other solutions like that to pre-treat your data before it goes into the vector database, databases. But really, it's not easy to do, and really using Fang2 or a simple platform is way better, I believe. So what I've seen, and this is something I've been thinking about since the last 6 months, in fact, is that most of our employees today are copy and pasting data from dump apps, so apps without AI are dump apps, right? And they copy and paste into ChatGPT, and then they copy back into your dump apps, right? So now we're getting a new era. Now we are in a new era where those apps and Salesforce and SAP are getting AI, so it's nice, but mostly through copilots, and it's interesting, but so it's kind of adding some complexity into the life of an employee, because they need to learn, right, new screens and new way of using the software, but it's a nice thing to have. Then you got your agents coming in, because now Google is saying, yeah, this is the era of agents. So we've got agents. So basically you have AI apps with AI, you got agents, and you've got some AI players here. So in this box here, I've got the pure player of AI, which are going to be a layer on top of your agents plus your apps. And so I think things are getting a bit complex, when in fact, if you have one agent for your organization, this agent can really interact with most of those applications. So those, I would recommend, I would say you can use whatever AI solutions on the market, but at some point it would be interesting to have your own agent designed in your own organization with your own models or own AI stack, to be able to interact with those applications, and at some point those agents will become really central into your organizations. But that means you would probably have some interest to look into how you're building your own knowledge and the stack, and this is what we've been doing at Epsimo AI, in fact, working on this, to have one stack for your whole organization. Even if we really are super easy to integrate and implement together with Google, together with Salesforce, and together with SAP. So there is it's not like one or the other, but we do believe you need to work on this in conjunction. And to make the parallel, I would say if you take H10 Studio today, which is a super solution, they've got a prompt builder, which is really something we have in Epsimo AI. In fact, we have also the same, and there are a few solutions today on the market to provide this, which are really simple to do. This is not really complex, to be frank. Using this is pretty easy. You've got your Copilot builder, which is in fact then building those little window here, which I have here on your application, where you have your chat, or your chat interface, right? Okay, you can overlay on top of your softwares. And again, this is something we do at Epsimo AI. In fact, it's easy to do, and the agent builder can take any form of UI. And then the model builder is where Salesforce is proposing something to do machine learning and being able to bring your own model or build your own model. And this is where we can bring hundreds of models into the platform, or you can use Fang2, in fact, to build you can use Fang2 to build your own machine learning solution. And last thing is, of course, the real-time integration, which is one of the aspects that I didn't see much focus on this, but pretty, Salesforce has got some flow solution to do this, to do a flow of actions, right? If your leads are coming in, how do you treat the lead, and we've got those solutions inside the platform. So we are able to. There are tons of platforms that can integrate, do automation, and today we have one in Epsimo AI here that can do any type of automation, which is integrated in the platform. But you can use make.com or Zapier or anything to do that. So this is not really magic, right? So it's just automation platform. It's been around for years, and I don't see why you would need to use those type of solution compared to a make or what we have in our platform. So that's kind of something we can do. And help you on this automation side, which is today a lot of the work is done around this, when the agent is really more about deciding what to do, right? So that's kind of where we're going into next year, but that's kind of something we can do. So that's about it for this presentation, or the summary of this presentation. So I will send you the link, or put the link below in this post, and if you want to talk to us or Epsimo AI or Thank2, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for your for listening, and have a good day.